I'm Jonathan Legg. I'm an explorer, a globetrotter on a continual quest for the unusual, exotic, adventurous side of life. My destination is the core, the very beating heart of a place. It's the search for the wildest, most unpredictable experiences, moments that widen and deepen our perspective of the world we live in. This season, join me as we journey deep into the mystery and splendor of one of the world's most fascinating destinations, India. What happens on our journey, I don't know. But one thing I do know is this: we're sticking to the road less traveled. If India was a body, tracks would be its veins, and the trains that ride on them, its very lifeblood. Every great journey in India must begin on a train, even if you're not conscious the whole way through. I'm on my way to a land that's been soaked in blood, and from that red soil has grown world-changing philosophies and an enigmatic God who's about to make a grand public appearance. Thousands of years ago, a great civilization thrived right where I'm standing. That is until a young emperor called Ashoka the Cruel came and utterly demolished them. The next day, young Ashoka decides he'll walk the battlefield, and the sight of the carnage hits him hard. That was somebody's mother, father, someone's kid, he thinks as he steps over bodies, scaring off vultures. The experience leaves him so shaken and conflicted that he decides to take a pilgrimage, one that will lead him underneath a very famous tree and flip the history of Asia on its head. Pilgrimage and its ability to transform emperors and the common man is part of the India experience. Orissa, found in the eastern coast of India near the Bay of Bengal, a popular tourist spot with hundreds of miles of unspoiled beaches and luxury resorts. It's no wonder people from all over the country flock here. Especially right now, because Orissa is a popular pilgrimage destination. And you know what that means. It's crowded. Very crowded. That guy, by the way, totally random. In India, there's a strong sense of familiarity and brotherhood. Friends are comfortable holding hands, and if you pull out a camera, everyone's part of the crew. Take this scenario, for instance. Our crew gets bombarded whenever there's a hint of a camera. The lack of privacy is ever present throughout most of the country, but never take offense. Indians just have a different mindset about personal space. All right, so here's the lowdown. This gigantic temple behind me belongs to the god Jagannath. The English word juggernaut derives from the name. It literally means master of the universe. He-Man's not gonna like that one bit. So, Jagannath leaves his temple with his brother Balabhadra and his sister Subhadra. They go 3 kilometers down this road to another temple where they'll spend 7 days. Let's call it their summer vacation. The process of how they get there is truly amazing. It's the day before Rath Yatra, the chariot festival in Odisha. My objective is to get to the salvation-granting ropes of Lord Jagannath's chariot. One touch of these ropes is said to absolve you of all your past sins. I move around getting a lay of the land and getting an idea of what I can expect over the next day.
Each one of these bad boys is over 40 feet high, has several wheels, each as tall as Shaquille O'Neal. In fact, years ago, people regularly threw themselves underneath these wheels and were crushed to death, but in their death were granted salvation, eternal life, so not a bad deal. Each chariot has these huge, massive, long ropes coming out from it, and the masses gather around and pull the ropes to carry the chariots to the temple. Now, if you can touch one of these ropes, even get your fingers on it, all your sins will be wiped away and you're free of the cycle of birth and death. So naturally, this is my objective because I've got quite a few sins to account for. Easier said than done. Wait till you see the crowd.
The crowds. The crowds. The crowds. I know I keep making a big deal about the crowds, but there's a reason for that. The Chariot Festival attracts the attention of over 1 million devotees, pilgrims, and tourists from all over India and beyond. And every single one of them share one common goal: get to the ropes. When there are multiple agendas, a crowd is just a crowd. But when everyone has the exact same plan, it's a mob scene. It's a bit intimidating looking at these chariots from the ground level. Imagine these behemoths grinding down the street, every inch of space filled by bodies, pushing, pulling, stepping on the fallen. I've read of numerous instances of devotees that have perished trying to get to the ropes. There are stories of people that have been crushed to death under the callous grinding wheels of the chariots. Others have been stampeded by a frenzied pack of like-minded pilgrims.
Get a load of these indentations in the pavement. The force of these chariots, these huge wheels on the chariots, have just completely crushed the pavement. These are the same wheels that we're going to run in front of tomorrow in our attempt to grab the ropes and cleanse our sins. It's going to be quite a challenge.
Well, it's only wooden wheels making divots into concrete. Nothing to worry about.
So today it's super easy to get to these things, but wait till later when they attach the ropes. It's going to be a madhouse.
So far, what I do know is the route that the chariots will take. It's simple. It's a 3-kilometer layout for the 3 chariots. They leave the Jagannath temple and head straight down for Gundicha. It's a process that takes around 3 to 4 hours total, depending on the crowd's involvement. The chariots head out in a staggered fashion. If I miss my chance to get to the ropes on the first try, it'll be nearly impossible to catch up to the chariot. Moving through the crowds is going to be like moving through quicksand. All I can count on is this: I have just one shot to get to the ropes of Jagannath's chariot. I decide to walk the route before it gets too packed. Get familiar with the main drag before it fills up. I stumble into a curious little place called Mausi Ma, the aunt's house.
So get this, after Jagannath and his siblings spend 7 days in Gundicha temple, on their journey back to their home base, they stop here at this small nondescript place for pancakes. I kid you not. It's part of their tribute to the days when they were poor and begging on the street. Yes, the gods in the Hindu pantheon can be poor and begging on the street. It's fascinating stuff.
It is exciting being here. I can feel the charge and energy of the people. You can see people from all faiths, all walks of life making their way into town for this very festival. It reminds me of going to the county fair or the traveling carnivals that set up in my hometown. Everyone's in a positive mood, young guys and girls are dressed up, and the energy is lively. It says summer. It says good times. Get ready to be approached by everybody trying to sell you a piece of their wares.
Friends forever. Be my friend. Will you be my friend? Friends. Oh man, the energy here is incredible. This is every traveler's true destination, to be someplace where it's vibrant, people are excited, there's that feeling in the air that something big is gonna happen. And you yourself, as a traveler, you don't exactly know what's gonna happen. There's an unpredictability about it, which is fantastic, it's electric. Well, come to a place like this with the cows walking in the streets, monkeys running up lines, people chanting and banging things, millions of gods. You're a kid again. You don't know what's going on. So you get that rush, that joy, the exhilaration of childhood once again. And that's the true joy of traveling. That's the experience we're all looking for.
I've grabbed my up-close and personal look at the chariots before the madness begins. Now let's see if I can sneak a look at Jagannath himself before he emerges from deep inside his secretive temple compound.
Not in Indian, and in other parts of country, other parts of other countries, they have the Hindu religions, people can go. You don't know.
Hare Krishna.
No, that is not the good. No. For that reason, the Lord is coming outside during this period. For you only, for you, for those who cannot get inside the temple, those who cannot see the Lord inside the temple.
I try the classic approach for getting into somewhere you don't belong. First, don't look at anyone. Have a serious, determined, going somewhere kind of expression, and just keep walking. If you get stopped, and only if, then play the ignorant tourist card. It's no good. I get confronted, and I'm immediately turned away.
Nah, cold busted. Well, there's one more entrance to the temple, but that is our last chance. So before we go there, let's go native.
I'm in Puri, Odisha for Rath Yatra. My goal is to touch the fabled ropes of Lord Jagannath's chariot, which are said to absolve all past sins. It's the day before the festival, and the crowd level is rapidly rising. I've seen the chariots up close, and I've tried once, unsuccessfully, to get into the temple. But, as they say, you can't keep a good man down. So the problem appears to be, I don't look like I belong there. Go figure. Maybe my performance wasn't convincing enough. Or maybe I just didn't have the right wardrobe. There are a lot of Hare Krishnas around. Maybe if I can match my look to theirs, I can slip into the temple.
All right, if we're going to look like a Hindu, we've got to dress like a Hindu, right?
I scope out this shop and look for the bare essentials.
Step one, Marlon Brando, Streetcar Named Desire t-shirt. Stella! All right. I like it tight, man. Tight. So I show off my muscles, you know?
Tight, tight.
Tight?
After the shirt comes the dhoti.
चड्डी अंदर है चड्डी है
Yeah.
हाँ है का
Awesome. Look at that. What's your name? Chauvin. Look at that. My brother from another mother. Thank you, Chauvin. It's the real deal. All right, I know what you're thinking, but number one, at least they're not black socks. Number two, you're right, I should have worn white underwear. And three, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get somewhere where no foreigner has been before. And I needed souvenirs anyhow, so 2 birds with 1 stone. Once I got my garbs on, a panda or a priest rolls by. Blessing, huh? It's $25 for the swath, but then you get the blessing of Jagannath. But I think Jagannath goes a little cheaper on this one. 1,000. I don't have 1,000. No, I think it's too much. I'm not a rich man. I'm a common man. 500. Okay, well we're down to half. Just a tiny one. Tiny one, 200, and then we're good.
Give me the money.
Give you 200? He hears my story, and with a little encouragement. That's a priest, by the way. That's a priest that I just negotiated from $25 down to $5 for a blessing, basically. Sound anything like indulgences? He gives me one of those holy swaths on my forehead, completing my utter devotee look. He tells me to apply this every day, post-shower, post-prayers. Yeah, I'll get right on that. The priest that you just saw is known locally as a panda. The profession is handed down within a particular family's lineage. In fact, all the temple workers, such as the cooks, the guards, and the attendants, have had their jobs passed down from generation to generation. The pandas serve as guides to the temple and perform pujas or prayers on behalf of the devotees. Sort of like a middleman between you and the divine. A particular family can elect to employ their own panda to give specialized attention to their spiritual needs. The pandas are usually paid a generous donation for their services, and the cycle continues. Pandas that have been in the trade for many decades garner enormous respect and fame, and therefore command a very high asking price for transmitting your hopes and fears onto the gods. The look is almost complete. It just needs a little icing on the cake. Jewelry. All Hare Krishnas wear trinkets and jewelry, right? Buyer beware. Trinkets from these stalls are cheap, but the price quoted to foreigners is usually overinflated. If you can, get a local to give you a price check. Outfit complete, I'm back on track to see if I can gain entry. This time, however, I'm gonna try a different gate entrance for my fresh approach. My goal is to walk in confidently as if I own the place. Maybe I should have sprung for sandals. Hey, go inside? But. No, shoes off? But. I take out the shoes? But. No entry? All right, Jai Jagannath. I want to pray to Jagannath. Officer, no? Oh, yeah. Okay. Only Hindus are allowed entry. In my heart, I'm Hindu. My heart, boom, 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 beats Hindu. No? All right. Okay. All right, thanks. Solid wall of security forces, but if I can't get to the big guy, I'll wait for him to come to me. Rath Yatra, baby! The origins of Jagannath are quite mysterious. Mainstream opinion is he's an avatar of Vishnu, but he was most likely incorporated into the mainstream Hindu pantheon after first being either a tribal deity of local Aborigines or an incarnation of the Buddha himself. Scholars are divided on the matter. One thing's for certain, he and his kin look nothing like the elaborately designed Hindu gods, carved with intricate human-like detail in stone. Jagannath is cut simply out of a big log of wood. No legs, no neck. He has exaggerated and oversimplified features. He frankly looks more like a Saturday morning cartoon character than the awesome likes of Shiva or Vishnu. But what he lacks in realism, he makes up for in intrigue. Few other gods have rituals as secretive as Jagannath.
भगवान हो या आदमी हो या जानवर हो, जो भी है सबका जन्म और मृत्यु साथ में लेके पैदा होते हैं। तो ऐसे भगवान जी ये मध्य मंडल में आए हैं, तो उनका भी जन्म और मृत्यु भी होता है। हम लोग का शरीर त्याग करने से दूसरा शरीर में आत्मा चला जाता है। ऐसे जगन्नाथ जी का शरीर में परमात्मा ब्रह्म है, उसको भी चेंज किया जाता है। ये 12 साल या 14 साल या 20 साल कभी भी 2 आषाढ़ का महीना पुरुषोत्तम महीना जब आएगा, तभी न भगवान जी का नया कलेबर सिलेक्ट किया जाएगा। दिन में जगन्नाथ जी का 56 भोग लगता है। भारतवर्ष में चारों धाम है। चारों धाम से रामेश्वरम नहाने का, भगवान का नहाने का जगह है, द्वारका सोने का जगह है, बद्रीनाथ जप करने का जगह है, पूरी भोजन करने का जगह है। तो इसलिए 56 आइटम डेली ऑफरिंग पर जगह है, 5 टाइम ऑफरिंग।
Nighttime falls, and the crowds of Puri keep ramping up. Even after hours, it's a whirlwind of activity. Food stalls, trinkets, seashells, toys. Seems like everything and anything is sold here.
We've dropped down into this market. In the daytime, it's a quiet beach, but every single night, thousands of vendors set up and sell whatever you want. Pots, idols of the gods, fried fish.
It's a complete family spot and a pleasant atmosphere to find yourself in. This, however, has nothing to do with Rath Yatra. A typical night in Puri by the beach always looks like this. Hard to see it now, but another common sight on the beach is the sand art. Elaborate, detailed, beautiful. This is the work of a local artist, but if you want to find the world's absolutely best sand artist, Sudarshan Patnaik, just walk down a bit. When he's not jet-setting around the world, he'll be here.
There's a nice respite from the crowds. I mean, there's still a few people, but there's a fresh sea breeze blowing, and it's really chill atmosphere.
I get a good night's rest and doze off to the sound of lazy waves. Tomorrow, it's gonna all come together. Ain't anticipation sweet? Today's the day. I'm amped and a wee bit nervous at the same time. It's the kind of excitement you feel when you know you're about to be part of something big. I take a tuk-tuk from my hotel and I can already see just how choked the city is starting to become.
All the cops here have these big baton sticks, every single one of them. No radios, no first aid kits, but they all have big freaking sticks. So I imagine some of those are going to get used today. Hopefully not on me. We're going to try to snake around the action and get around the backside and cut in through a back alley, because going in through the normal temple, forget about it.
I've gone as far as the auto will take me. Time to hit the pavement. It's early, but the town is already on its toes. Movement and energy in every corner of the street. Love it. As I head further towards the chariots, the wave of people gets thicker and thicker. Imagine walking against a constant stream of liquid. At first, it was like walking through water. Then it felt like walking through Jell-O. And now it's starting to feel like a thick custard.
It's tough moving through this crowd because there's whole families, so you want to push past people, but you might be separating father from son or brother from sister. A lot of these people are from, the countryside, so they don't want to get separated in this crowd. They've never been in a mass of people this large. If you're ever in a crowded situation like this, you've always got to establish a rendezvous point before you jump into the crowd. Hello.
This is a claustrophobic's worst nightmare. Don't touch me!
The government of Odisha is spraying people down. It's so hot and humid out here. I mean, it was hot when we first came to town, but now you've got literally the BTU of 1 million people cooking this place. Can you hear the sounds and feel the electricity? Woo! I almost got run over by that ambulance. How ironic would that be to get killed by an ambulance?
I'm trying to get up somewhere higher to get a better vantage point. I want to see how the wave of people approach the chariots. See if I can find a chink in their armor, so to speak. A weak spot where I can penetrate through and get to the ropes. Problem is, most of the choice spots to get a look have been taken up by locals many hours before the procession. Finally, I spot a rooftop that has a little room to spare.
So we're gonna go up here, try to get a vantage point down on the wagons as they run by. We talked to some people in the crowd, and it looks like it's Balabhadra, the brother's wagon, goes by first, then Subhadra's, the sister's wagon, then finally Jagannath's one comes in as like the grand finale. So we'll have a few cracks to get at some ropes. So one thing I've learned in my travels is it's better to ask forgiveness than to ask for permission. So we just sort of slipped in this hotel. You walk like you belong here. And if somebody catches us and asks for money or wants to kick us out, that's great. But if we ask for permission, there's a good chance that it's going to be a no. So always just do it. And if you have to say sorry later, you say sorry. You're a foreigner, you don't know what's going on. Don't be shy, just jump right in. Look at that. People from all over India. Oh yeah, we'll be able to see the chariots coming. We have found the perfect spot. And what's great is most of these joints up and down the road, they're asking for $10, $20 to get a little spot on the roof and watch the chariots come by. And we just slipped into this hotel like we belonged here, ran up the stairs. It's perfect. When you don't pay for something and it's not a business exchange. It's kind of like you're there, you got there on your own. You didn't buy the experience. It's not necessarily about the amount of money. It's the fact that you didn't pay for the experience. When you pay for an experience, you're a tourist. When you just go in and get the experience, you're a traveler. Utter pandemonium down there. I've determined that it looks like attacking one of the middle ropes is the best strategy, but if you fall down, you're gonna join the long list of people who've been trampled to death. It's like Black Friday on steroids. I'm excited to dive in. We're gonna let this one pass. This is our study run, where we're figuring out the best strategy to get to the ropes. And when Subhadra comes by and Jagannath, we're diving right in and not falling down.
Can you say religious fervor? Every one of these devoted souls took their own painstaking pilgrimage to come here, touch those ropes, and cleanse their sins. And they're going to use every fiber of muscle and willpower to do it. I'm going to have to either outsmart them or just plow into the sea of humanity. One thing I figured out from my rooftop analysis is that it's hardest to approach from the sides, where there's a crush of space between chariots, ropes, and buildings. People trying to get up the street, down the street, and to the chariots are all locked in a struggle in the hot zone. The best approach is to get ahead of the action, slow down, and hit it straight down the middle. Only one issue. Police, theoretically in place for crowd control, own the middle. And if they don't like you, then you're gonna get the wrong end of a baton. As Subhadra approaches, I'm gonna take that risk. Jump brazenly into the middle and see if I can't get away with being in the restricted space.
Let's go attack the ropes. Hit the rope. Oh, we got cops with batons. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Absolute religious fervor. You feel the energy. Everybody's happy. These people came thousands of miles to come here to grab these ropes.
Whoa, whoa, that was a close one. I've never been cracked with a big stick. It's not on my bucket list. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Get out. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? The strategy worked. Let's see if it'll work again when the big kahuna comes a-rolling.
Almost got whacked by a cop. A cop was coming right at me. I turned around, he saw the foreigner face, and he was like, "Oh, it's all right." I was like, "Oh no!" And then I got caught between two ropes at one point. This rope goes tight, comes straight at me, and I literally have to hopscotch over the whole thing. Exhausted, pushing, pulling, grabbing, but everybody's smiling. You know, you're yashing this guy, smash, but you smash a guy right in the face, and he smashes you in the face, and you grin at each other and say, "Jai Jagannath," and you're off. You know, yanking the ropes together. It's like a massive brotherhood, pulling and fighting and scratching, all for one reason, all to be together in this spiritual soup, a blending in the energy of each other, and hopefully to absolve our sins. I hope it works. How great of a deal is that? I mean, it was rough work, but for the absolution of sins, piece of cake, I'll take it any day.
I'm in Orissa for Rath Yatra. I found a great vantage point to study the best access route to reach the chariot ropes. Now Jagannath, the master of the universe, is about to ride.
Here he comes, the master of the universe himself, Jagannath. Every 12 years, the statue is replaced, and the priests confer the living spirit of the god into this new statue. So when you see the statue of Jagannath on this chariot, you're looking at the living God. And if he sees you, he burns your sins away with the power from his eyes. We're going right into the belly of the beast.
I try to make a straight run for Jagannath's ropes.
I tried to get in there, but it's solid. It's solid humanity. I mean, I got about 3 feet away. I tried to shark attack, ninja chop my hand in through about 2 feet of people, and it wouldn't penetrate. Some guy actually grabbed my arm and tried pressing it in for me, and I think I was within inches, but then another body pressed my elbow. I thought my arm was going to break.
Thank you, thank you.
So I'm going back. I'm going to get it.
Thank you.
I'm going to get it. Jai Jagannath! Jai Jagannath! I get it. I'm going to get it.
It quickly becomes evident that my straight approach won't work with the boss man. Jagannath has too many devotees who, perhaps like me, have decided to come in from the front. Add to that people who have dropped off from other chariots. There's no time to lose if I want a shot at the ropes. I spot a huge doorway and gamble that it leads to a back alley. If I can snake around some of the mob, I may be able to muscle in through the last layer. But negotiating unknown streets is easier said than done. I soon hit a dead end and have to backtrack.
Can we go back to the street this way? No way to go back? Because we're trying to go back around like this. Can't do? No. Only this way. Okay.
My only chance now is a hard press from the side.
All right, we're trying to cut through the back of this ashram here, and maybe we can sneak back to the street and get in front of the chariots. They're on the move, and there's just no way to get through the streets straight to them. So we've got to find a shortcut if we're going to get to it. Once they get to Gundicha, it's over. You know, the blessings and all that, it doesn't count anymore.
This time I'm determined to fight my way in. I've noticed that occasionally the chariot needs to stop in order to keep proper pacing from the others. When it does, the cops begin swinging their sticks at overzealous devotees who refuse to stop pulling. At these moments, the rope is sometimes dropped and a struck man might back off, allowing me to take his place. The only thing is, I'd not only be taking his share of the rope, I'd also be taking his share of the official beatdown as well. I made it. The fabled ropes. I get my hand on them. The ropes of affection that bind God to devotee. They're rough and pulled so tight, they feel like a steel rod.
My hand's on the rope. Oh, we're going!
Just then, a feeling of dread sinks in. I've made it in, but I didn't consider getting out. There are tons and tons of committed souls pressing in for the ropes, and now I'm the only guy trying to get out. The thought occurs to me that I might have to stay right here in the hot, sweat-drenched, muscle-to-muscle crowd the entire 3 kilometers. I'm already exhausted and in bad need of water, but if I had to, I think I could make it in this moving wrestling match till it reaches its end. But I'm not so enthralled with the idea. For now, my plan is don't trip, don't fall down, and if you see a gap, hit it with all your might. The chariots make their way on to Gundicha. In their path, a wake of athletic sandal destruction.
These are all over the place. Apparently in the mayhem and people pushing, pulling, stepping, hundreds of shoes have been lost. So most of these guys that are barefoot, they had shoes at the start and they lost them already. Jai Jagannath! Yeah! You're looking at about a liter of my own sweat and a mixed liter of sweat from about 1,000 Indians. But you know what? It feels fantastic. We're all mixed together. We all shared the moment together. And we all got our sins absolved. So good deal, right? We made the journey. We accomplished our goal. Jai Jagannath! Jai Jagannath! Jai Jagannath!
In my futile struggle to get into the temple, one man consoled me. "This is why we have Rath Yatra," he said, patting my shoulder, "so everyone can get a close look at the gods." But perhaps this man, for all his generous intentions, was coming from the wrong set of assumptions. If these deities were born outside of Hinduism and then later adopted by the pandas, the priests, maybe the whole story could be flipped around. During Rath Yatra, I observed the holy siblings as of the people and for the people, regardless of class and caste, in a face-to-face, open access kind of relationship. I have also met more than one priest who leveraged his authority over the gods for financial gain. If this then is the true nature of both spirit and man, maybe Rath Yatra wasn't designed to let the gods out of the temple. Maybe rather the temple was built to put them in one. So there it was, Rath Yatra. I had heard so many harrowing accounts of stampedes, pickpockets, and the suffocating clutch of crowds. I did have a little money snatched out of my pants, sure, but that's why I only keep chump change on easy access and wear a money belt. And it was physical. I wouldn't recommend bringing anyone out of shape or unsure of foot to the heat of this action. Perhaps even being in shape, I took a risk. And certainly I lost a good deal of water weight getting to the ropes. But it was worth that price. For every worthwhile thing in this world takes a little effort to get. On my way out of Puri, I walk past the chariots now parked in front of Gundicha, the statues still inside. I feel the presence of something, and I look up into the gaze of Jagannath himself. His big white eyes lock with mine. My time in Odisha has been quite action-packed, to say the least. What I've experienced, being literally connected to the chariots, the people, and the energy, has changed me, as every good travel should. There's always a message there if you look for it. I now understand the power of devotion, and how it serves as the driving force or emblem for somebody's faith. Not every believer in Jagannath gets this opportunity, and even if they do, only the strongest and most determined will make the ropes. I feel lucky. I've come into a strange world and dived right into the deep end.
Paul Thoreau wrote that Indians are instinctively pilgrims, liking the ritual, the spiritual boost, and the companionship of pilgrimage. After Puri and Rath Yatra, I understand where they're coming from. So whatever happened to that brutal emperor Ashoka, the guy who crushed Kalinga? Well, during his pilgrimage, he meets a young monk who's practicing a little-known regional religion. The monk tells him to go sit underneath a certain Bodhi tree and reflect. After the experience, Ashoka renounces violence, writes comprehensive laws for human and animal rights, and goes on to spread that obscure religion called Buddhism all over Asia.